There is something subtle but incredibly important that happens on the spiritual path. You see, two people can look at the same symbol, the same rose, the same cross, and yet they are not seeing the same thing. One sees a doorway and the other sees an object. One uses the symbol to awaken and the other becomes attached to it. And this is the difference between symbolism and idolism. And if this distinction is not understood, even the most sacred symbols can lose their meaning. So today we're going to explore the difference between symbolism and idolism, specifically through the rose and the cross, and why this understanding can completely change the way you walk your spiritual path. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to attach meaning to something external? A person, a practice, a symbol. At At first, it feels powerful and it feels like you found something meaningful. But over time, sometimes that meaning becomes rigid. Instead of the symbol pointing you inward, it becomes something that you hold on to outwardly. And without realizing it, the focus shifts from understanding to attachment. And this is a very human tendency. And it's not exactly why this teaching matters. Let's look at symbolism and what it really is, because a symbol is not the truth itself, it's a pointer to the truth. It is a way of expressing something that cannot be fully explained without or with words. You see, the rose is not just a flower, it represents the unfolding of the soul, and the cross is not just a shape. It represents the intersection of spirit and matter. But here's the key. The symbol is not meant to be the destination. It is meant to guide you toward direct understanding, like a map. The map is useful, but it is not the place itself. So, what exactly is idolism? Okay, well, idolism begins when the symbol is mistaken for the truth itself. So, when the outer form becomes more important than the inner meaning, instead of asking, what does this symbol reveal within me? The focus becomes, how do I hold on to this symbol? How do I defend it? How do I define myself through it? And at that point, the symbol is no longer opening awareness, it is reinforcing identity. And this is where spiritual stagnation can begin, because instead of moving deeper into truth, we become attached to the representation of it. You see, the rose and the cross as living symbols were never meant to be objects of worship. They were meant to be living teachings. You see, the rose points to the unfolding of the soul, and the cross points to your human existence. And together, they describe something happening within you right now. And if you only admire the symbol externally, you miss the transformation internally. But when you understand the symbolism, the meaning begins to come alive in your own experience. The rose is not something that you just look at. It is something you become aware of within yourself. And the cross is not something that you carry physically. It is the life you are already living. And here's the subtle shift, because the difference between symbolism and idolism is not always obvious. It's not about rejecting symbols, guys. It's about how you relate to them. Do they open your awareness, or do they become something that you cling to? Do they point you inward or keep your attention outward? Because the moment a symbol becomes something that you rely on for identity, it begins to lose its deeper purpose. But when you use it as a mirror, it becomes powerful again. So, how do you live this teaching? The next time you encounter a symbol, pause, and instead of just observing it externally, ask yourself, what is this pointing to within me? If you see the rose, reflect on your own unfolding, how your spirit is awakening, the journey that you've been on. And if you see the cross, reflect on your own experience of life. Bring that meaning inward. Let it become something that you explore and not just something that you possess. Because the real transformation does not happen in the symbol, it happens in your awareness of it. Because symbols were never meant to replace truth, they were meant to guide you towards it. So the rose and the cross are not things to worship, they are invitations. And those invitations can understand, it's to understand your own nature, your own journey, and your own unfolding. And when you see them this way, they become alive again. Not as objects, but as reflections of something deeper within you. So if this message resonated with you, I want you to take a moment to reflect. Is there anything in your life, spiritual or otherwise, that you may have become attached to externally? And what might change if you began to look at it as a symbol rather than something to hold on to? So share your reflections in the comments, guys. And if you feel called to explore deeper teachings on symbolism, consciousness, spiritual awakening, the twin flame journey, make sure you subscribe, because in this series, we're continuing to uncover the hidden meanings behind the symbols that have guided humanity for centuries. And until next time, remember this: the symbol is not the truth. It is the doorway to it. And I will see you guys in the next video.